A new music documentary premieres on Prime Video today. As Ashley Dvorkin reports, it takes a closer look at Paul McCartney's life in the 1970s after the Beatles split.
1, 2, 3.
Paul McCartney's post-Beatles reinvention takes center stage in Man on the Run, a documentary exploring his life in the 1970s after the legendary band split.
That kind of gravitational pull of the Beatles becomes this thing that Paul's trying to escape. He's trying to figure out, who am I if I'm not a Beatle? And that's why I called it Man on the Run.
It follows McCartney as he forms his band Wings with his late wife Linda McCartney and guitarist Denny Lane, taking creative risks and starting over while the world watched.
I think of it more as a self-actualization, that he's somebody who is asking himself existential questions like, who am I? Who am I as an artist or a husband or a father or a person? And he has to answer all these questions, and I think that's the journey.
Director-producer Morgan Neville keeps McCartney off camera, using rare footage and newly recorded audio interviews.
This one needed the intimacy. It's part of why I didn't film the interviews that are all audio interviews, because there's kind of an intimacy in that telling of it, and trying to go to places that Paul didn't normally go.
Neville says the film reveals a side of McCartney the public rarely sees.
What you realize is that Paul could be insecure, Paul could be competitive and steely, he could be things that are, way more human rather than just kind of the public perception of him.
The question of the documentary was, who am I if I'm not a Beatle? Don, who are we if we're not a Beatle? I think about that every day. Well, there were some critics to the documentary as well. They're saying that it fell short of showing the kinder and softer side of Paul. But they add it does show much of the timeless musical catalog with his group Paul McCartney and Wings.